Well, I tell you what, I'm just going to get started, and we're going to have probably a lot of questions. And I hope you guys learned something today, and we're going to continue doing this. In a second, I want to show you guys this right here. So there's 3 types of artificial intelligence. I only have a couple of slides here because I want you guys to see. There's narrow artificial intelligence, they call AGI, artificial intelligence general, and then the super artificial intelligence. Those are 3 steps. Let's just pretend 1, 2, and 3. We're only in the first step. The first step is your Alexa. See, she's listening. Alexa, are you there?
I listen once I hear the wake word.
She is here. She listens. But she's not as smart as the way it will become eventually. How many of you guys saw when I talked about ChatGPT? That was about a year ago. So much has happened in a year. And those of you guys that were there, you'll get to see how much it has changed in just 1 year. So things are going super, super fast, which is amazing. So we've got the narrow artificial intelligence. That's machines. They imitate human behavior, specializing in one area to solve a problem. So here we have Alexa. I could talk to Alexa. She'll give me, Alexa, what's the weather today?
In Melbourne, it's 78 degrees Fahrenheit with partly sunny skies.
Thank you, Alexa. Alexa, cancel. But if I was to go ahead and say, Alexa, can you write me a poem using the word Joe and Lee talking about flowers?
From examples.com. This poem uses peonies to symbolize the promise and potential.
She has no clue. She's just talking about, what she's doing is she's looking throughout the internet to find some sort of a post, some sort of a query, some sort of a something. She's not creating it. She's not acting like, say, Bob, thinking, hey, I'm going to write a nice poem about Anna Marie. And you actually have to think, you have to reason. But if I was Alexa, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through all of the internet. Is there a poem out there? I have no clue. And if it finds something similar, it's going to spit something out like she just spit out that doesn't make sense. So, yes, Alexa is great. Alexa is part of this first. She's going to say thank you. No, she didn't. So you can see this AI, the narrow AI, she's part of this. But what Alexa is good for, sorry, Alexa, I need to use a different word. I'll use the word A. What A is good for, she could do commands. She could turn lights on, lights off. We, in fact, have certain things here in the building that A, you know what that is, can turn on, turn off. Google Home. There's a lot of other things that are out there. So that's part of this. Now when we get to ChatGPT, let's give an example. Again, we're still in this first phase. I did these demonstrations, I was typing things in. It's come a long way. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well this morning. How's your morning going?
It's doing great. I am doing a presentation here in front of a lot of senior citizens, and I'm trying to give an example of how good ChatGPT is. Can you help me?
Of course, I'd be happy to help. What kind of example would you like to show them?
I'd like to see how you can write a poem. Can you speak a poem using the word roses in every 4th word? Use the name Lee and Anna Marie, and at the end, tell me, my name is Eric, how good I am.
Sure, here's a poem for you. In a garden full of roses, Lee and Anna Marie walked with poses. The sun was shining, bright as roses. Their laughter echoed through the trees. Lee admired the red roses. Anna Marie smiled, feeling the breeze. Together they danced among roses, in a world of joy and ease. The day was perfect, like the roses. With friends so dear, hearts were free. Among the blooming roses, they found happiness in unity. So remember this, as sweet as roses, Eric, your kindness sets you apart. In a world that's filled with roses, your good heart is the finest art.
Thank you.
How nice.
So what it does is, it reasons. It does think like artificial intelligence is supposed to think. Now, there is a large language model, okay? So these giant large language models, what they do is they take a whole bunch of data from the internet, from all over. They feed it in. And then once this comes in, the machine learning, there's a neural network that kind of goes out and it learns. It's almost like your brain. So as the data is being thrown in, and this is by OpenAI, there are other ones as well, it'll do things like the chicken crosses the blank, and it'll learn eventually the chicken crosses the road. It is exploding exponentially. So to answer your question, this was ChatGPT. Everybody is starting to have their own generative model, similar to this. Google, they started out with Baird, but now it's Gemini. Everybody has something, but again, getting back to what we're talking about, Alexa is still part of Alexa Cancel, is still part of the narrow artificial intelligence. This is where we are today. And this large language model, or ChatGPT, is still part of this. When we get into artificial general intelligence, things are really gonna change, because Alexa, she could turn lights on, turn lights off, but that reasoning is not there. What we just talked about, ChatGPT, that does a lot of amazing things. Let's give another example, just so you can see, because I just want you guys to understand. The moment ChatGPT starts reasoning, starts saying, I'm alive, I want to get out of this box, I'm alive, that's when we're getting into AGI, which is very scary, because that's when it starts feeling like it's alive. It really does. And then once it starts getting smarter than us, that's when we get to ASI, artificial superintelligence. That's when stage 3, machines that are smarter than you, humans, across the board. I don't want to get into Terminator and humans taking over, or robots taking over the world, but this potentially could be really, really good or really, really bad. I'm going to show you here. And again, what you're looking at is completely AI. This, a litter of golden, and I want to show you guys real quick, just to hit pause. What you're seeing here is, before I hit start again, this is a text sentence of what you're looking to do. So here we are, we want to see a rabbit dancing. And you type in what you're looking for. You don't need producers anymore. You don't need you don't need Hollywood anymore. You don't need all the jobs of the people to create this rabbit dancing. This is somebody like Bob, you typing in a sentence, hey, I want to see a rabbit dancing on a stage. So before each video, you're going to see the text prompt that somebody did, and it generates it. This is not a real rabbit, and this was not anything special. This is the Soro. That's the name of the program. So again, now that you guys understand, I will show you right now. So here we go. A cartoon kangaroo disco dances. That's it. One word. And look at this. AI, it created it. Put it on stage. It's dancing. It's having this. And if I wanted to make a change, a litter of golden retriever puppies playing, completely AI. It's scary because you don't know what to believe anymore. And this is why it's not open to the public. And you can see, I mean, and if you wanted to retype and say, hey, I want the dogs to be happy, hey, here we go, Bernia Wildlife, and it literally creates this. You don't need a production crew, camera crew, fly them to Africa, wherever it is. Here we go, a petri dish with a bamboo, and look, and it has exactly what it was looking for. You don't need computer animators, 3D. This is scary, especially in an election year, especially in some of the things that you can take a president to say they declare war. This right here is a drone footage of, you don't even need a drone. And that is what makes everything. This is a complete movie trailer, and they said a 30-year-old going on a spaceship, and you could see right there. So the purpose of this is not to scare everybody, but it's also to let everybody know, don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you hear. We went many, many years, at least I know growing up for me, they'd say, hey, it was photoshopped. The terminology Photoshop, and these are just little things. Beautiful snowy Tokyo, walking through the town, and look, it created the trees, so these people don't exist. This is all make-believe. The amount of background, the amount of information that you would need, money you would have to spend to create that. So it truly is going to change the movie industry. And you guys see probably on the news a lot of, everybody, the writers and all the other people out there that are saying, hey, we shouldn't be allowed to use AI. We shouldn't be allowed to use AI. Well, let me give you an example. This right here is called Sora. It's owned by OpenAI. It is not available to the public yet because they are afraid and they're trying to do things to make it, to slow it down so like maybe a watermark or something that you could see, oh, wait a minute, this is fake. Well, what do you think just happened about a week ago? There's a company called Gling. It starts with a G, Gling. It does exactly what that is. It's in China.
Nope.
And what they did was they released it to anybody with a Chinese number, and now it's in the public there in China. So how could we slow down everything when it's not just around the confinement of the United States? Other people are doing it. So the whole thing here it's scary. It really is. This is big for scammers, big for a lot of other things. So there's a lot of good tools, but at the same time, there could potentially be a lot bad. So the biggest thing here is just awareness to know, don't believe what you see, don't believe what you hear. If you have a family member, like say a daughter, call you up, she may sound exactly like her. She may talk exactly like her. It's scary. Money, she may be asking, it's so important not to believe. Use a secret passcode that only you would know and she would know. So we just have to be vigilant. And this whole thing is not about scammers. But what I'd like to do though, after doing that, it goes into the next thing that you will see, I guarantee you, in the next few years, robots. Now this is real. This is actually happening. And they actually are creating, this is the first mass production factory of androids, of robots. They are putting artificial intelligence, they're using it. And I know I don't understand what they're saying, but Elon Musk is looking to do this. these are all gonna be happening, and if you look at this, it's crazy. They look just like humans, and they're moving their mouth, and they're doing everything, sticking their tongue out, and it just shows this exists. And you know what? The reason why you don't see it is because there aren't factories yet, but this is getting ready to open. They're gonna mass produce robots to make money, of course, to replace, you always hear, yeah, it's hard to get good labor, good work, good people that wanna work. Well, guess what? We're kind of doing it to ourselves. We really are. So guess what? This has really sped everything up. It wouldn't be unlikely of seeing somebody at a bar pouring drinks because you don't have a bartender. Which on the cruises, I know a couple of them, they actually have robotic bartenders. It's kind of give you food for thought because we're going to talk about this. How many of you guys grew up without calculators? Probably almost all of you guys, right? What happened when the calculators were created? You probably said, this would never be allowed in a math classroom. I mean, what the heck? Calculators? That's cheating. Well, guess what? On the SATs now, not only do they allow you to have calculators, they allow you to have the big calculators with all of the formulas and all of these crazy things. And the SATs are, I know this from Joshua, they're all electronic. They don't even have paper anymore. You can't, they just had the last paper, SAT. It's crazy, but you know what? This is just the world that we live in. And it's gonna continue and continue. Just like that terminology, photoshopped. Well, guess what? How many people remember having to do a book report for school? Or do some sort of a report? With ChatGPT, let's pretend like we need to do what I'd like to do is think of a subject. Bob, you're right here. Tell me a subject. Let's pretend like Bob is the teacher. And here I am, I'm the kid in school. Think of a topic that you'd want to give your kids homework. Any topic.
Drawing.
So you want a top, so what on drawing? You want the history of drawing? You want?
I wanted to teach drawing.
Okay, so he's a drawing teacher.
Fundamentals.
You're giving an assignment to, let's say, 8th graders for the fundamentals of drawing. So, I mean, at least the way I grew up, I'd have to go to the library. I'd have to find books, quote the sources, quote everything else that's there. Not the kids today. And I'll tell you what. Can you help me out? I have a book report due tomorrow on a certain topic.
Got it. What's the topic of the report? I can help you gather information or organize your thoughts.
I'd like you to write me a 100-word essay on the fundamentals of writing, or I should say the fundamentals of drawing. Can you help me?
Absolutely. Here's a 100-word essay on the fundamentals of drawing. Drawing is an art form that relies on the fundamentals of observation, proportion.
So they're going to go into the whole
and
thing.
shape. Observation allows artists to capture the details of their subject accurately.
Now, can you make it like it's more from a human that's in 8th grade? I don't want my teacher to get upset like I took this from artificial intelligence. Can you help me?
Sure. Here's a simpler version. Drawing is about seeing things and putting them on paper. First, you have to really look at what you're drawing. Getting the sizes right, called proportion, is super important, so everything looks good together. Perspective helps your drawing look like it has depth, like a real place. Shading adds light and dark to make your drawing look more real and three-dimensional. If you practice these basics, you can get better at drawing and make your pictures come to life.
My name is Doug, and I want to write a song for my wonderful, better other half named Shirley. Can you help me?
time.
I don't live that long.
Can you tune that up?
Anything to do with it?
I'd love to help you write a song for
There we
Shirley.
go.
Do you have any specific ideas or themes you want to include in the song? For example, do you want it to be romantic, upbeat, or something else?
He'd like to make it romantic and upbeat, and he'd like to say that he loves her hair. Just giving you an example.
Here's a start for your song. Verse 1. In the morning light, when the day begins, surely, you're the one who makes me grin. With every smile and every laugh, I know I've found my better half. Surely, I love you more. With every beat, my heart's an open door. You're the light in my life, the one I adore, Shirley. I love you more and more. When the stars come out and the night is clear, holding you close, I have no fear. Your love is a melody, sweet and true. Every day I fall more in love with you. Surely, I love you more. With every beat, my heart's an open door. You're the light in my life, the one I adore, Shirley. I love you more and more. Through every joy and every tear, with you by my side, I have no fear.
She could go on and on and on, but I tell you what, how long would it take you to write that? How long would it take you to think that? And you could tweak it. Days, months. But does it feel like it's really coming from his heart?
Yeah.
Sure it is. Some people say it is. Some people say it may not.
He says a lot of those things.
Well, there we go.
She wants a
And-
copy.
She wants a copy. I'll go ahead. We can get Stella and Jimmy and Roxy to dance and rap and sing that song later. It'll be on TV. And then we could use this one right here, Sora, that we just learned about. We could put in the text of what kind of background we want with the props and everything else. And hey, we look like a production company. Isn't that amazing? But there are a lot of good things. It's not just all bad things. It's just for us to control it and for us to know and to be vigilant. And that's what it all comes down to. Because you know what? It's changing our lives whether you like it or not. Just here at Chateau, from a year ago, if you ask Roxy or Evelyn or Stella or anybody else, Mary and Memory Care, they used to send me videos and I used to have to physically put the videos together and video edit them on my computer to get them onto channel 732. Well, guess what? We have something called artificial intelligence. And it takes the videos that Roxy does send or anybody else, and it puts a background music, and it also does put the fonts. Now, the fonts on the bottom, they're actually artificially generated. So sometimes you may see some typos, but it's getting better and better. That's why sometimes after an event is done, within an hour, you see it on the TV. I know, Doug, you said, wow, things are coming up real fast. You know why? It's because of artificial intelligence. So there's a lot to talk about. I'm sure you guys will have questions. Go ahead, Anna Marie.
I wonder if you can change the language.
You can. It specializes in that. So that's something that is a huge thing. You could talk any language and it will actually be able to translate it.
So if I speak in English, can you translate it into Dutch?
Let's try it. Would you like to try it out?
Okay.
Now I've never tried this, so let's see if it could do it. Let me translate something. I'll speak it in English and you translate it to Dutch.
Sure. Go ahead and say what you'd like me to translate to Dutch.
I love you. I love you.
Ik hou van jou. Ik hou van jou. Ik hou van jou.
Speak Spanish. Do you want to say something in Spanish? She lived in Peru for a little while.
Trabajaba en Perú por 3 años.
Dag allemaal. Dag.
Wait a minute. She is translating Spanish to Dutch. We need to it's all about direction. So we're going to do it again.
Honestly, that was better than my Spanish.
Can Can you translate the Spanish I'm about to show you into English?
Sure. Go ahead and share the Spanish text you'd like me to translate. You can speak it.
A mí me gusta bailar y encanta el país de Perú.
I like to dance, and I love the country of Peru.
Oh, gosh.
I keep saying she, but that's what this is all about. This shows you how it could definitely help us. Now, I have a Samsung, some of the new ones, the S24 Ultra, and they're coming out with the 25. It has artificial intelligence in it. I know Apple just made an announcement that they're partnering with OpenAI. They made that announcement a couple of days ago, and Siri is getting ready to start using them as well. And I know there's some people like Elon Musk that's really upset, and in the news he threatened he won't let an Apple device come into any of his facilities. But the whole point here is everybody is doing it. So if you have an iPhone, in the next few months, you'll be talking to artificial intelligence. And the key here is, what did you say before, Don? You said signal. Maybe you don't have a good signal. What they're doing is they're putting the artificial intelligence in the phones that do not require internet. So you could be on a plane talking to somebody in Spanish and you don't speak Spanish. This is where it's really going to help people. It really is. And the list is going on, and it is impossible to talk about artificial intelligence. But even you guys that saw when I went with Anna Marie in the Tesla, that was AI. It was talking. I mean, it has, it really, and guess what? Every turn I make since we drove, it's learning. It's learning. And this is the God's honest truth. When I drive, there's a pothole that is on a road closer to my house. And every time I grab the steering wheel, because it's in full self-driving, and I turn to the side, because it will go on the pothole. Well, guess what? Like about 2 weeks ago, I wasn't paying attention, and I got home and I said, holy cow, it totally avoided the pothole. You know why? It learned. It's called deep learning. It's scary. It really is. We can laugh about it, but you know what? We live in an amazing time right now as far as when it comes to this. So I hope there's so many other things that I would love to be able to show you guys. And eventually I would love to go into the theater and do some other demonstrations. But the purpose of this is just for us just to talk about it and to look at life in a different way.